Okay, so really what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through a few things. I wanted to start with, I'm Steve Miller. I'm the Gen Ed lead at the Owen Sound campus. I work off of line and I teach 8 different courses in an academic semester over the course of the 2 semesters, and they're all asynchronous. Now, asynchronous just means that the students can come in and take their course material anytime that they want. And it's not the easiest for all students. It's time management. But what we're going to do, we're going to look at how to first log in. Because logging in isn't that particularly challenging. I think you've already been in the employee portal, and that's where I'm going to take you to log in. And then we're going to see one of my course shells, my lifestyle management. I'm going to walk you through the tabs. I'll also go through the action and the details, and then we'll go through the content. Now, you're looking at the very first place that you would come in and when you open your course, and it's in the content area. And then at the end of this, I'll go through where you can find all the ultra support. And there's quite a few locations. I'm going to show you 4 of them. And then that's what we're going to do. So let me minimize that. Now, of course, you should recognize this. This is the Georgian College website, and we would basically just log in here. Now, you can log in directly to Blackboard right there. It's a login. So, or you can go down to the employees portal, and it will be one of those quick links or the shortcut links there. I'm just going to click into Blackboard here. It's already recognizing that I'm Steve Miller, so I just got to put in my password, and I'm going to stop talking while I do it so I don't put in something different. Oops. Now, what we're getting to here is where you will log in and you will get the same entrance start. That's at this institutional page here on the left. These are all your little menus. You can get into where your name will be here, and in it will be where you can set any of the information relative to what's important to you for students to see. Now, the activity screen doesn't show anything now because we have no students. So there's nothing in here. But once the semester begins, this starts to get populated with everything that you've done to build your course and what activities is going on. But here's the big one, courses. This is where your courses will be located. Now, right now you're seeing all of mine as private. Now, I have quite a few, but you're going to have your primary course. This is the shell that you and the students will work in. But if you'll notice, you see criminology, I have a criminology prep. You will likely get a you'll get your course, and you'll get a prep shell. The prep shell is a place for you to play in and practice, and that way you can sort of play around and not make mistakes where students will see, and then you can move, or they call it migrate, all of the stuff from your prep shell into your finish shell. While I'm here, I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to point this out to you later. Blackboard Ultra courses for migrating training. All the training that you may need to get your courses up, you can locate right there, and it'll be populated in your shell as well. But let's go to my lifestyle one. This is what I showed you in the keynote slide. And I wanted to start by going across the top here. These are tabs. You come in on your content tab. So if we were to scroll down here, you're seeing all of my content, getting down into week 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. But we also have a calendar. Now, this calendar is dedicated to this course, Lifestyle Management, and to the students. Now, there won't be anything in here. I'll change it to a month. I'm going to go back to April. And you'll see that the due dates that I have been putting in show up here. They, that is the students, can add their own dates in here if they want by going to the plus sign. Now, announcements. This is a place you should be using pretty regularly to keep the students engaged. It's an announcement will show up. You just come over here on the plus sign, and you create an announcement. Anytime you see that little orange asterisk, that's a place where you must add something. So all three of these, you must add something. Now in this, you just put a heading, hi and welcome. It's got the recipients. In this case, I have 42 students, and so all 42 students will be getting this announcement. And then I type in my announcement down here, and I can email them this announcement, or I can schedule this announcement to come up at a later time in the week. I'm just going to get out of that. So here's a bunch of announcements, and you can see that all the students had viewed them. It's showing when I posted and what I've posted. Discussions is something you may choose to use. I don't use them personally, but it is a place where you'll see this little tip here, and it'll give you an idea on how you can use them, and you just would create a new discussion by going over there. Now, gradebook is not something that we're always so excited about, but students generally want to know how they're doing. So gradebook is set up where you get an overall grade which sits at the top, and I'll walk you through something there in a minute. But everything that you put in here with a mark will show up. So I have my orientation quiz, which is also journal 1. I have a goal setting assignment. Then I have other journals, and then 3 tests. Now, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to do something kind of quickly, because when I click on the overall grade, I'm going to see all of my students, and I don't think I should be showing you all of my students. So I'm going to click on it, but then I'm going to click on the top left-hand side where it says calculations pretty quickly. And that will take us somewhere else that I want you to see just on the quick. So there, calculations. There I am. And this is a place, you know how when you put your syllabus together, not everything is worth the same amount towards 100% grade at the end of the semester. Some things are worth 5%. So you can see my journals here. They've been created, therefore I can assign how much percentage for them. Same for the tests, and same for the assignment. See down at the bottom it says 100%. In order for this to be accurate, this total of all the things that you've got totaling here should actually be 100% for it to be accurate. These little tip things here let you know you can go back. I'm not going to go into grade. I'm just going to close. Messages. This is a very popular, many students sometimes will use messages as a way of communicating with you. It's kind of like a text in a sense. They would message you here, you would respond here. You'll get on messages here, you can see on the left hand side where it says messages, you'll see a 1, 2, 3, 4, depending upon how many messages you get, there will be a number there. You just click on that and it pulls up all your courses, and there will be a red dot beside one of the courses that tells you that there's a message there. So we'll come back. Now, I'm not going to touch on analytics. One, you need to have almost a full semester into your course for there to be any information for the Blackboard to analyze. And some of the analytics are just comparing for your benefit. It's not for the student's benefit, okay? And then groups. If you choose to use groups, I would really recommend to connect with the Blackboard Ultra support team to make sure that you get a preview user. And I'm sorry, that's not going to make any sense to you right now. I have used groups, but there is something that they need to add. So if you do want to use groups in your particular course, please email me and I'll let you know what I found out, and I'll send you what they sent me. Okay, now what I really want to do is really spend more time right here, but I'm going to walk you over here. There's a very important, right there, course is private. You noticed when we came in, they all said private. That means only me can see them, or in this case, you can see it too because you're looking from your point of view here. But the students can't see it. Now I'm going to click this, and it's going to say, do you want to open the course essentially? So when you click open to students, Nothing in your Blackboard shell is going to change. Now, but students will be able to view it, and it will show up on their Blackboard so they can start navigating through your shell. I'm not going to open it right now. Okay, now these other components down along the side here, this seems to be set for you. It's the place that they will allow you to go check on how students are doing. So by having progress tracking on, it allows Blackboard to gather information that you can look at later to see how your students are doing. I really want to spend the bulk of my time that I have with you to walk through how you might populate your Blackboard shell. You'll get these two will likely be in your shells when you get them, and they're not for students, they're just resources for you. So they are set, hidden for students. Now anything that has a little chevron, we can click it. We could make this visible for students, but Blackboard has made this document available for us as faculty, not for the students. So we'll leave it invisible. All of these pieces that I've added are things that are all visible to students at the very beginning of the semester. So for example, this is what I think the Blackboard team provides this one for you, where the students start here, and this gives them an opportunity to be introduced to a couple of things, just a quick little blurb, a welcome to students, a land acknowledgement, and a basics on navigating the Blackboard shell, or the course. So I leave that and leave it available, and students can choose to get there if they want. But this is the biggie for me. Your syllabus assignment and documents. I make this available before students arrive, and before I even make it visible to them, so it's always there. Now let's have a look inside. What I've done is I've posted my syllabus, my goal setting assignment, my journals, and the course outline, and make this available for students. I'm going to just open up my syllabus for an example. Now what I do here, and you'll be given, here I'll show you, see these little three circles here. I should point out to you what I'm going to do. I'm filming this right now, and I'll make a copy of what we're doing so you can have this to come back, and I'll put colors and arrows and stuff in here to make it easier to see. My mouse is just too small. But if you click there, you can edit, okay? And it gives you some things that you can do. I put a video with everything. That's me talking about the syllabus. So I walk them through it and show them what's important to it, but I also post it for them. That's it right here. It's a PDF. You can push that little chevron, and we'll wait patiently, ever so patiently. Where did it go? Well, we won't worry about it. It's not important that you see it. I don't know what happened to it. You can download the original file right there, and I have them watch the video. These are not too difficult to put in. You see this little circle down here? At the very bottom, there's a little circle. If I click it, I can add content. That's what I did to put this in here called your syllabus. Add content. And this is what I started with to build this up here. Just type in some content, add a document with the little paper clip here. And if you're going to add a video, insert content. You can go to YouTube. Maybe you have media on your computer. You have a URL that you got from YouTube, or maybe you have the cloud storage, or if you're using publishers' content, you might be using this. I use YouTube for a lot of my videos. Okay, we'll get out of that. So I make this available for everybody so they can make sure that they can see it. Now, I have to say I'm doing this differently than I've done it in the past semesters. It seems that sometimes students struggle to navigate where things are. And perhaps how I had it set up before was a little more difficult. This, I'm hoping, is more simple. Just open it up and there's your stuff. Oops. Now, always put some way of getting and reaching out to you and how to access their textbooks. So I make another folder. These are modules actually, and these are documents. So how to access your e-text. Many publishers are now using e-text, so you may not have a textbook in the proper sense, but you may have a digital version. And so I post that in here for them. You have a link to get to the bookstore, a video on how to do it, and the CRN that they need to access the particular text for this particular course. So you can populate your Blackboard shell with everything that the students need. Now, you don't have to do videos. That's the choice that I have made. But it's one of the ways that they can have an alternate way to understand what the expectations are. Make sure you put some contact information in. Now, this particular part here, that's my winter beard. I have my summer beard on. This is just a little place for you to say something about what you do or something that might be related to the course. Because this is a lifestyle management course, I let them know some of the things that I do that I keep myself healthy with. Indicate how you can be reached, what way to reach out to you, what are the options. It's important to let them know how to get out, how to get in touch with you. Now, I do this as an extra. I made a video on how to do some extra online success tips. I want them to use PDFs, so I show them how to do it. I want them to use their calendar so they know how to, they can remind themselves when they're supposed to do a test and things. So I do a video to create that. You will find plenty of other things that you will need to put in for yourself as well. Now, this is something I did really differently this year, is I made a module just for tests. There's nothing else in here but tests. Now, I'm going to point out something. You notice I've got release conditions, release conditions, release conditions, and release conditions. What I've done is I've created these tests. I have put them into Blackboard, and because I do the whole semester before the students arrive, then I can put these tests in. The release condition just means that I have specified when in the semester I want this test to open and when in the semester I want it to close. So the date and time is right there. February 5th at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it closes on February 9th at 5 o'clock. 5:01. The system doesn't like 5 o'clock if your due date is 5 o'clock. So those are the tests. I only got just the one assignment, so I put the assignment in here. Little detail, I give them 2 attempts to post the assignment. It's only one document. How much is it worth? That it's an assignment and when the due date is all listed here, plus a little blurb on the description. You would get your submissions from your students right here. Now again, I won't click here because all the student names will pop up. But here is where I will see every student that posted an assignment. Now you'll notice it says 37, and if you were paying attention, you noticed that it said 42. So that would just suggest that 7 students didn't submit their assignment. Sorry, 6. No, 5. This is intercession. I am not on my best brainwave. Okay. Now we'll go to journals. It's the same thing. I've just listed the journals, all the ones that they have to do. I put the journal 1 into the test. It's getting a little clicky because it's more of a test, and I said the orientation quiz. I have them. I create a video on just what to expect in the course and how to navigate Blackboard, and that's my orientation video is. And then I have them quiz on what did they learn in that, so they know where everything is. They have to have their syllabus and tell me 2 dates in the syllabus. So it's just a way to get them engaged. Every week, 1 through to 14, something's in there. I'll show you week 1. Week 1, I have these little breakdowns. These will be populated in your developmental shell, so you can also fill these in. A little introduction about what this week's material will be. Where do the what learning objectives apply to this particular chapter? You will also have a to-do list. Now, because they have the orientation quiz, I added that here as well to remind them. There's your orientation quiz. Don't forget to do it. It's due on the 26th at 5 p.m. You've got from January 8th till then to complete it. Then the weekly stuff. Again, there's my winter beard. So this is chapter 1. I've done 2 videos that walk through some of the content, and it's just videos that when you put them in, you just click them and they play. That's just an introduction. Learning activities, anything that you can get them to do in that particular week can go right in here. Now, I mentioned about the quiz, but in the assignment, they have to do a survey that's coming out of the textbook. So I put it in here to remind them now's a good time to do that self-survey because it's going to be used in the goal-setting assignment. And then again, a reminder about the quiz, and then a little summary of what we did and a little anticipation of what we're going to do in the following week. So you can tell there's a fair bit of work to do. However, it's all done in sort of the same sort of repetitive way, so it can be sort of therapeutic. There's that little circle, and you can add and create, and that's all I've done is I keep adding. Now when you do it in content, we'll go create. Now we've got all these options. What I've been using is modules. Week 1 is a module. All the other bigger ones with images are modules. There's folders, there's documents, there's a variety of things, tests, assignments, journals. There are a variety of things that you can add within the shell. I would highly recommend that you do go through the training element within Blackboard that is offered there through the Blackboard support. There are some good resources there. So I make these all visible. You can see I've made this hidden. I just wanted to show you the difference, that if it's hidden, you won't see it. Now, how do I know that? You may have noticed up at the top here, student preview. Sometimes it's really handy once you've built a bunch of stuff in Blackboard to find out, well, what will the students see? Will it look like what I set up? So let's do this. We're going to select that. It's going to say, we're going to start it. All right, let's start it. It's going to do a little funky thing here, and then bingo. Now we're in a student view. So you notice there aren't as many tools here. I can't change my image. I can't make this the course show up anymore. And everything up here is the same, but what they can see here is different. You should be noticing a couple of things. One, there's no 3 because I said it wasn't going to be showing, and so it's not there. They don't see it, but they see the ones that are visible. And not started. Not started. Every student will be tracked as to whether they've accessed something or not. So when you click and I open up the syllabus, okay, all I've done is I've opened it. I'm going to close it. Look, I got a half circle. I've started. I haven't marked it as complete because I haven't done anything, but that can happen. Students can start, not download, and then come over here and then do that, and it appears as if they've got their syllabus, but they don't. So you can check that, and I do, and then I usually will email them to say, I wish you would get your syllabus. You're going to need that. It's important. And often they'll go in and eventually get it. So that's what the student view looks like. Now, when you want to exit, here's an interesting component. Now, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to answer how come. But if I exit, it's going to say I can save my student preview, and I'm not sure why. That is something that the Blackboard support will probably inform, and I think if I was doing groups and I had a preview user and I put me in every group, I think then I'd want to save that in student view so that the students would see me there and I would be there. But I'm not positive, so please, I'm sorry, I don't know. Okay. How we doing on time? We're okay, good. What should I show you? Oh, test banks. If you're doing tests in Blackboard, one of the best ways to do it is to use test banks. Your publisher will provide test banks, PowerPoints, an instructor's manual with the resources for the textbook. If you get test banks, they're usually zip files. So you come over here into test banks, and all of the test bank can be loaded in here. And that's what I've done, is just loaded them in here. So there's only the one page, yeah. So it looks like I've only got 68 questions, but actually they're worth a lot more. I have a bunch of matching, so they're 8 points each. They do 3 of them in the test, plus the tests are out of 50 questions. I have other test banks where I've created them, and they have over 700 questions in each test bank. The more questions you can have in a test bank, the less likely that multiple students will get the same question, and it makes it difficult to cheat then. What some students will try to do is take photographs of their tests after they complete them and they circulate them. And it's easy if you only have a few questions to be able to do that. It's not so hard if you have a lot. I've had students sit side by each doing a test and they noticed they didn't get the same question through the entire tests. That's only because of large test banks.
You copy from a prep model into the actual live.
Yes. Yeah, one of the things they'll do in that Blackboard shell, and I'll go back to it in just a sec. That's when I said it was the Blackboard support for migration. Migration is moving things from your developmental shell and moving everything over into your live shell. So once you've developed it, it goes completely over to your live shell just as you've done it. There will be no differences. So that's kind of handy that way. It will. It's a little unfamiliar with how you do it. Let me just see here. Okay, when am I here? Yeah. Okay. See these little guys here are all over the place. When you click them, they give you a menu list. And one of the things here is copy items. And that's what you would want to do, is you would copy your course items from your developmental shell into your live shell. So what I'm gonna do here, yeah, let me do that. Let me go into my my prep shell for lifestyle management. This is my prep shell. It doesn't look much different, except there's no bells and whistles. And this is how I did do it, and it didn't work very well. I went like this and then this, and it was like multiple steps for students, and they didn't do them, or not very well, or they couldn't find tests. Now, I understood when they didn't find tests, it was because they weren't looking in the right place and they didn't watch the orientation video. But you can notice, though, this is all I sent over, and it's still here. And when I'm done this training here today, I will take these shells and I'm going to move them all back into my developmental shells. That way I can just restore them in next winter and move them back into my live shell with whatever changes that I wanted to make. So you will be bouncing between your live shell and your prep shell. So I'm going to save my live shell into my prep shell, and then in the winter next year I will move it back from here into here, because these at the top are all going to disappear, and when Blackboard takes them down, my developmental shells will be here, but these won't be. So I have to save them into my developmental shell. It's like saving them so I can use them later. If I don't save it, then I've only got what's already in here. And if it's not what I want, then I have to redo it all in here. So yeah, that's a good question. Yes, You will have that developmental shell, and I would take full use of it. You can move things in there. If I take this course and copy it into here, what will happen, patience with me, I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. All that new content will start from week 14 and go down. So I could delete all of the stuff on the way up and start fresh with the existing stuff. I know that's not going to be straightforward because you haven't even had a chance to play yet. Let me take you into, I'm going to take you into the Blackboard Ultra right now, and then I'm going to go back to the support on the keynote and complete that. Because I mentioned this, but I don't show it, but I think it's worthwhile. When I did my training, I did it last spring. And because I teach 8 different courses, it was difficult to jump in on just one, so I decided I would teach myself using all of their training. So I did all of their training here. I did all the stuff here. I went into and did all of this, and then did most of this, or at least what I thought I needed. I wanted to learn about gradebook, making my course pretty. I wanted to do more about grade. So these are things that I did, and this is how I learned what I'm doing now. Now, in the old Blackboard, I've been using that for years, and it doesn't work quite the same. It's a little different. So I would spend some time going through this course material. It's helpful. I find the transcripts aren't particularly good, and that's just transcript software isn't always good. But otherwise, they're useful, they have good information, and that's important. What have I just done to myself? Oh, no, that's not what I wanted.
Sorry, Steve. We just lost you for a second there. We're back.
Okay, I'm going to minimize and get back to... where did I put it? Oh, gotta move this out of the way. There we go. Right there. Okay, I want to go to here and then here. Okay, so the Blackboard Ultra support, the big thing here is where I just showed you. That's probably where the bulk of the stuff that you can do really on your own time without having to reach out and wait for some support. You can probably get a good start by starting there. Now, there is another location in Blackboard, and I should have shown you that, but that's the Blackboard support. If you look at that in the institutional page, there will be Blackboard support and additional resources for faculty and staff. These are not for students, and they're only showing up on faculty's Blackboard shell. So there are also good resources in there. You've already been to the employees portal, and in the faculty toolbar, or toolbox, I mean, that whole left side has different elements of Blackboard support. So that should be pretty handy. And then lastly is the Center for Teaching and Learning. There is a segment on their site. Now, on the toolbox, the faculty toolbox, if you look down, it says in very small words, Center for Teaching and Learning CTEL in brackets. That's this particular site there. And that's really the bulk of what you need for the Blackboard support to get that sort of component. I'm going to stop sharing here for a minute just so I can come up and be seen. I hope that's been, I know it's been quick, and I know there's a ton of stuff there. When I make the video, I'm going to put some additional comments in there to help explain a little bit more. And let's see, what's today? Today's Thursday. I'll make the video tomorrow, and I can have it out to Jessica and Nadia by Monday. That way you should have the video early enough that if you're teaching in the fall, you'll have some time to go through some of this material and be able to get yourself prepped and ready to get at least a start. I think everybody just needs to get a start. That's all I did last year when I was learning this new stuff, is I just got to start. I already have changed things because I was making notes as the semester went by as to what do I need to do differently to make this better. And so it's just a process, a time of incrementally making things a little bit better, but a slow bit at a time. Is there anything else?
Everybody okay? Thank you, Steve, so much. That was fantastic.
Yep.
And thank you for doing the video for us.
Oh,
It's
that's-
so appreciated.
Oh, it's no problem. I love making videos. That's what I will do when I eventually find the time to retire. I'll be making videos until I pass away, and that might be my last video. If you have questions, don't hesitate to.
Music video.
Yeah. If anybody has additional questions as an afterthought, please feel free to email me at steve.miller@georgiancollege.ca. I'll do my best to answer.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody, and good luck.
Thank you.